What's up, Cop? In today's video, we will discuss about how to improve your CRS score for Express Entry. But before we begin, I would like to say thank you very much for supporting when in Halifax, and please don't forget to like this video, and if you are new to this channel, please consider to subscribe and on the notification, because we have lots of topics to discuss and to help you to understand more about immigration and give you updates as well. So anyway, today's discussion is how to improve your CRS score for Express Entry. So before we begin, I just want to define some common abbreviations. So when you hear about CRS or CRS score, it means Comprehensive Ranking System, because you will hear me on this video about CRS score, because we're going to mention some CRS score, how to increase your CRS score. But now you know what the CRS means. It's Comprehensive Ranking System. And the second is, you will hear me saying PNP or IELTS or IRCC. So when you say PNP, it's Provincial Nominee Program. And when you hear me about IELTS, it is International English Language Testing System. And the last one is the IRCC, or the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship in Canada. So let's begin. Always remember, guys, when you are applying for immigration here in Canada, it's all about CRS score. So Express Entry, when you hear about Express Entry, it's about the CRS score. The higher your score, the higher that you have the chance, and the lower your score, it depends. I cannot say that you will be getting a hard time if you have a low score. But the thing is, if you are above 400, you have a chance. Because as of August 20, 2019, the CRS score cut-off threshold was 557. So the only goal if you're applying for Canada immigration is make sure that you have the highest CRS score. So yeah, the next is the question of, sir or Cap, how can I improve my CRS score? How can I improve my CRS score for Express Entry? So it is very important, guys, that you understand how the CRS is computed. So it says from the definition that the education, the maximum points that you can get is 25 points, and we're in the 25, the highest score from education level is you can get it when you have a master's degree or a PhD. So when I applied for Express Entry that time, I don't have a master's degree, so I don't know what's my point. I think I didn't get the perfect score, but I think I'm around 18 or 20 or something. But the point is, if you want to get the highest score, if you have a master's degree or if you have a PhD, you have an advantage. The next is the language skills. When we talk about language skills, is the maximum points that you can get is around 24 points, and Canada is English and French. That's the official language here in Canada. By the way, guys, if you want to migrate here in Nova Scotia is English. So because I heard a lot of questions from our community, if they're asking, sir, is Nova Scotia is a French speaking? There are some, but majority of the people here are English. So, but anyway, how to increase your language test? If you watch my previous video, I always encourage everyone to get the highest score as possible in your English exam. if you can get more than 7 CLB, let's say CLB 9 or CLB 10, that will be an advantage for you when you apply for express entry. And then if you have, again, if you want to learn another language, learning a French language will be an asset or an advantage. So if you want to increase your CRS score and you want to learn new language, try to take French class. Try to learn French language. So learning a French language will have an advantage to your CRS score. The next is the experience, the work experience. The maximum points that you can get from the work experience is maximum of 21 points. The full points for 4 or more years of experience is an appropriate level. So if you are planning to apply for immigration or express entry here in Canada, I always encourage you that you should have at least 5 years of experience in your work. So if you are a newly graduate, invest time to have a work experience. So if you're a registered nurse and newly graduate, apply for a work, mold yourself, make yourself an expert in your profession. So if you're a nurse, newly graduate, I will not advise you to take the express entry because you will get a very low score because if you don't have experience. So my best advice, if you are a newly graduate, make sure that you have an enough work experience. So the advisable number of years is around 4 or more years to get the maximum points of 21 points. So my advice for you is, if you want to increase your CRS score, make sure that you have an enough experience. Less than 4 years, you will not get the perfect score or the maximum points in the CRS score. So again, to get the maximum points, 21 points in experience, you must have at least 4 or more years of experience. The next is the age. Sir, what will be the perfect age when you are applying for express entry? The perfect age when you are applying for express entry is 21 to 49. The maximum points the maximum points that you can get is 10 points. So this is the concept for the age. The more you the older you are, the lessen the points. So if you're young, if you're within 21 to 35, you can get the maximum points. But if you get older, your score in your age will be decreasing, or your CRS score will decrease. So your age really matters, guys. So if I'm going to advise, if you are planning to apply for immigration, make sure that you plan it now. So if you think that you have enough experience, you have 3 or 4 years or 5 years experience, and then you are between 21 to 35, try to apply for immigration because you will have a good advantage. And now, how to improve my CRS score? Now that you know the English test, you already know about the age, how to increase my CRS score. So there are 3 ways to increase your CRS score: the PNP or provincial nominee, and job offer, and retake your IELTS to increase your CLB. So these are the 3 tips that I can give to you on how to increase your CRS score. Now that you understand the CRS, you need to have an English test or language test. You need to have an education. You need to have English test, proof of funds. But the question is how to increase my CRS score. These three options can help you to increase your CRS score. PNP or provincial nominee, I was so lucky that I was given the chance to be nominated here in Nova Scotia. So the Nova Scotia nominated me and given me a additional 600 points. So imagine guys, from 300 something plus 600, add it up, it's around 900 points. That's why after getting a provincial nominee, I think within 6 months I was able to get a permanent resident or a PR here in Canada, Nova Scotia. So the bottom line is you need to strategize, you need to plan. That's my advice. You need to plan your immigration journey here in Canada. If I'm going to give an advice, the first thing that you need to do is you need to ask yourself when I should start submitting my application to Canada. If I am currently working, how many experience I have, how many years I have. So if you say 5 years, okay, I have a 5 years experience. And how old I am 30 years old. Yeah, it's the perfect time. So you need to put a timetable. So because the older you are, the older you are, your CRS score decreases. So if you're 35 years old, maybe ask yourself, I'll just put another 2 years. If after 2 years I need to change my plan because I'm 37 now and my CRS score will decrease. And at the same time, if you are young enough, let's say you're in 20s or 20 or 22, and then you have enough time and you have enough money, maybe you consider taking a master's degree, because taking a master's degree can increase your CRS score. So it depends. You need to strategize. You need to plan. That's my advice for you guys on how to increase your CRS score. How to increase your CRS score? It's up to you. What are the best strategy? So can be retake your IELTS, get a master's degree, look for PNP, and or look for a job offer. So that's it guys, and I hope I'm able to explain the common question that we received, how to increase my CRS score for the express entry. But anyway guys, if you have difficulty to get an English test, a proof of funds, or a job offer or PNP, maybe try to consider the AIPP. AIPP is Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, wherein it's not based from the CRS score, it's an employer driven. Same thing with a job offer, where you need to look for a designated employer. The only difference with the job offer is you need an LMA or LMA, but in AIPP you don't need an LMA because it's an employer driven. So if you want to learn about AIPP, I'll post a link on the description below, and I'll send all the video directly to your messenger. So thank you guys, and hope to see you again in our next video. Bye bye.